Görebiliyoruz.
Peki. Öncelikle hoş geldiniz. Hepinize çok teşekkür ediyoruz bize zaman ayırdığınız için. Çağatay Turan ben. SoftwareONE Türkiye'de ürün yöneticisi olarak görev yapıyorum. Bugün size SoftwareONE'ın bir çözümü olan PowerConnect for SAP and Splunk ürünüyle ilgili bir tanıtım yapacağız. Ondan öncesinde ben tabii çok kısa SoftwareONE Turkey'den biraz bahsedeceğim. Biz neler yapıyoruz. SoftwareONE Turkey 1997 yılında Data Service ile bir yazılım entegratörü olarak kurulmuş bir firma. Daha sonra 2015 yılında Alman Comparex firmasıyla bir stratejik ortaklık kuruyor. Ve 2019 yılında da SoftwareONE ve Comparex'in globaldeki birleşmesinden sonra SoftwareONE olarak faaliyetlerine 2019 yılından bu yana devam ediyor. SoftwareONE SoftwareONE firması merkezi İçin'de olan 90'dan fazla ülkede yerel ofisi olan 6500'den fazla uzmanı olan bir yazılım ve hizmet firması. Türkiye'deki referanslarımıza bakarsak finansta neredeyse gördüğünüz üzere çalışmadığımız banka veya neredeyse bütün banka ve sigorta şirketleriyle çalışıyoruz belli bazı çözümlerimizde. Telko operatörlerinde büyük telko operatörleriyle Turkcell, Türk Telekom ve Vodafone gibi firmalarla çok ciddi çalışmalarımız var. Bunun dışında endüstri ticari veya genel sektör dediğimiz firmalar ve kamu kuruluşlarında çözümlerimiz ve hizmetlerimizle müşterilerimize hizmet vermeye devam ediyoruz. Genel anlamda bakarsak faaliyet alanımızda 3 tane ana konuda faaliyet gösterdiğimizi söyleyebiliriz. Bunlardan ilki Microsoft çözümleri. Bu arada SoftwareONE dünyanın en büyük Microsoft LSP firması ve biz de Türkiye'de yine Microsoft çözümleriyle müşterilerimize gidiyoruz. Bunun dışında kurumsal yazılım çözümleri ve güvenlik çözümleri diğer ana faaliyet alanlarımız ve tabii ki bunlar da sadece ürün sağlayıcı değil, aynı zamanda profesyonel hizmetlerle müşterimize ulaştığımız çözümleri sağlıyoruz. Tabii ki tek tek saymayacağım ama görüldüğü üzere dünyanın çok önde gelen yazılım üreticileriyle partnerliklerimiz sürüyor. Tabii hani burada bahsettiğim firmaların hani bütün ürünlerini satmıyoruz ama uzmanlığımız olan değer katabileceğimizi düşündüğümüz ürünleriyle müşterilerimize yardımcı oluyoruz. Çalışma mantığımıza bakarsak hani dediğim gibi biz sadece ürün satan bir firma değiliz. Danışmanlık, profesyonel hizmetler anlamıyla müşterilerimize destek veriyoruz. Ürünleri çalışır halde teslim edip yani bir anahtar çözüm yani uçtanızca anahtar teslim çözüm sağlayabiliyoruz ve bunun dışında yönetim hizmetleri alanında bulut hizmetleri gibi konularda da müşterilerimize yardımcı oluyoruz. Ben çok vaktinizi almamak için yani SoftwareONE'un bu genel yapısından biraz bahsetmek istedim. Şimdi sözü Marcel'e bırakacağım. Marcel bizim Almanya'daki PowerConnect konusundaki pre-sales danışmanımız. Kendisi çözümle ilgili size tanıtım ve demo yapacak. Ve tabi bu arada sorularınız olsa mutlaka arada bize sorabilirsiniz. Now we can continue in English, Marcel, and I'm leaving the screen to you, and now I'm closing my screen.
Perfect. Thanks, Chagatai. I assume that you introduced myself already. This is what I already heard out of your speech. So I just say hello. I'm just sharing my screen now. I prepared my presentation already. And hopefully you can see my screen now. Hello, my name is Marcel. I'm from Germany. I'm a technical pre-sales specialist for PowerConnect and for SAP. And I want to tell you about PowerConnect today, especially for you to know what is PowerConnect, how you can use it, how it works in a highly overview fashion, and for which kind of use cases you can leverage it. In the end, I want to talk a little bit about licensing of PowerConnect, since you're probably interested into it. And then, of course, you can ask open questions or just around all the topic. If we have some time at the end, I plan to do some overview demo on our actual product. So nothing deep, by the way, but that you have a first impression how it looks like. And yeah, don't waste a lot of time, just start. So the first question you might have, what is PowerConnect for? Why should I want to use PowerConnect in my company? So usually you are confronted with in your IT with a infrastructure, an IT infrastructure, an IT business application sector, and with SAP. SAP has made up some very special domain in IT the last for 30 to 40 years for some reason. So usually SAP has their own software products, their own third-party vendors, their own infrastructure components, their own consulting companies and services, and so on and so on. So it's a silo within your organization. What we want to achieve is to break up the silo and build a bridge to Splunk. So Splunk is a multi-purpose data platform. You might know about it. And our goal was to implement a possibility to get data, arbitrary data from SAP to Splunk. One use case is monitoring data, means for security, for performance monitoring, for business process monitoring. But in theory, you can extract any kind of data that is accessible within the SAP systems and bring it to Splunk. So I see PowerConnect rather as a data framework for data extraction from SAP to Splunk than just some kind of monitoring solution. The target in the end is for you to bring your SAP data together with your data that resides in Splunk already, or that you bring to Splunk in parallel, and get them together, bring them into a correlation, and get more insight on your business, on your IT management, on your infrastructure data. So the target and the aim, the overall goal is to get more insight on your data, to get faster and quicker insight into your data, and to speed up your business. So in general, how does it work? So PowerConnect consists of an agent running into within the SAP system, and an application that runs in Splunk as a Splunk app. So the first step is to collect the data in the SAP system. The data could be various data. We talk about that consecutively. And then we take this data, upload it to Splunk, and in Splunk we can view and we can process the data. So in detail, it looks like that. First step is collect and extract the data. And the data could be transaction data, table data, results of function modules, IDOCs, and the corresponding content, database data, whatever, API calls. Everything that can be attached or can be tapped within the SAP system. For that, we have little sub-programs in our tool, and these sub-programs are called extractors. And this, for example, is a part of the list of extractors we have in our tool. Each of these extractors is dedicated piece of data out of the SAP system you might be interested in, and move it to Splunk. For that reason, it is moved to a temporary table that resides in the database schema, and from there it is uploaded to Splunk. The good news is, if you have special tables or special requirements, Z tables, whatever, something that is custom to you, you can easily extend the functionality of PowerConnect using additional extractors built with programming language ABAP. Yeah, and when the data is sent to Splunk and it arrived at Splunk side, Splunk acknowledges it and tells that it arrived at Splunk side, and after this confirmation is available on the SAP side, the corresponding data set is vanished from the temp table. So you don't waste lots of space in your SAP system. Once arrived in Splunk, you can either use our Splunk application. Splunk application consists of hundreds of dashboards, of predefined dashboards that you can use out of the box. It makes use of all the data we send to Splunk, and you can view it, watch it, and you can also see it as an impression for your own developments. Because in the end, I told you, PowerConnect is a data extraction framework, and so the focus actually is on the data, not on our dashboards. So the biggest asset is the data that you have in Splunk that you can retain as you wish, and that you can use for your own developments too. So our Splunk app can give you an impression how to develop your own data, data extraction, data dashboards, and so on. But of course, you can use our predefined dashboards for security monitoring purposes, for performance monitoring purposes, and for business process monitoring purposes, and in the end, also for getting an insight into database status. But it's up to you what you do with the platform. If you have a team of Splunk developers, you can do almost everything with the data we provide you. Right. The high-level architecture can be seen here, and you see it doesn't matter if you're using an ECC application, a BW application, or if you're using a Oracle database or an SAP HANA database, because it is supported implicitly. Of course, this doesn't apply like that on S/4HANA, since application and database are restricted to what SAP made available to the platform. But in general, the message is we support both the NetWeaver platform and the S/4HANA platform. At NetWeaver side, we support NetWeaver Application Server ABAP and Application Server Java. On the S/4HANA side, we support the on-premise version and the cloud managed service version of S/4HANA. However, with a slightly reduced feature set, since SAP doesn't allow us to tap all the data, but they don't allow it to you as a customer as well. So this is not because we are weak, this is because SAP restricts the access to the data. All right. An important message is that we are using certified interfaces for our add-on applications. So PowerConnect applies as an add-on using the Saint transaction or upgrading via the span transaction, and you can easily install it with Saint. You can get rid of it with Saint without any legacy that will remain. So this is the big message for you. You're always have a fallback, a way back without any legacy and with reduced risk to install PowerConnect on your SAP systems. If you have an existing Splunk environment, and I assume it is, you have it, you can leave it as it is. You don't need to configure it in a special way to make it work with PowerConnect. we're communicating via an HTTP event collector connection, or respectively an HTTPS event collector connection, and this is quite standardized, and we are able to access multiple indexes, multiple servers, and multiple Splunk landscapes. This is not a big deal. You're highly flexible with our solution. For your technical staff, it might be important to mention that the performance impact of PowerConnect on your SAP system is quite low. So according to our existing customers, the CPU impact reduces itself to an average of 1 to 2%. We saw a maximum of 4% actually, but in general, of course, this applies to and is related to the use cases you're using and to the data you send to Splunk actually. Because if you're using more data that you send to Splunk, of course, the work processes need to work more to push it towards the HTTP event collectors connection, and this increases the load on the system as well. Memory usage is quite low compared to the numbers we are dealing with today. So we are talking about less than 100 megabyte per work process, and as well as disk utilization. I was talking about the buffer table that is used to send the data to Splunk, and of course it's being vanished at any time the data arrives at Splunk, so it's the memory footprint, disk utilization footprint is quite low. As well, this applies to the network I/O. We're not sending hundreds of gigabytes of data to Splunk, so the usual network connections today are not even stressed by the data we send to Splunk usually. Yeah. The next question I'm confronted with quite often is what's the impact on Splunk licensing? We all know that Splunk licenses according to data ingest per day. And I cannot give you a dedicated answer to that, because in the end it depends. As well as for the performance impact, the impact on the Splunk license is due to the use case, because if you're using just a security use case, you might send less data to Splunk than if you're dealing with a business process use case with millions of messages a day, and which produces a lot of data compared to a simpler use case. Again, you can highly configure and customize the frequency of data transmission within the PowerConnect application. And of course, if you send twice of the data to Splunk, twice of the data will land on the Splunk side and affect your licensing. The third point I would say is the extractors. You saw that we have a high number of extractors that are available by default, and you can configure this freely. You can activate or deactivate them depending on your actual need. So if you don't need the data some extractor provides, you should deactivate them, and so not that much unnecessary data or unwanted data is sent to Splunk and spoils your license. In addition to that, you can even restrict single extractors by metric filters, so that not even all data from one extractor is sent to Splunk, but only the data you want to see there. So, just to tell you about our supported systems. I told you about NetWeaver and S4HANA applications. They are supported at any time. So everything that is NetWeaver, everything that is S/4HANA is supported by PowerConnect. There is also the opportunity to support SAP applications that are not based on SAP application servers like NetWeaver or S4. It's, for example, SAP Business Objects. You can make use of some extractors for business objects by putting our Java implementation of PowerConnect on a Tomcat-based application server and access the software from the outside. This also applies to some certain SAP cloud services. We support in the cloud the SAP Cloud Platform Integration Suite, and we can support different other SAP cloud services. But in contrast to the other applications I told you, we are not at the point that we have a product for it. So at any time currently, this will be a hand-in-hand POC or development between our customer interest and us to bring you the result that you expect, or if it's not the case, that we can see, okay, we can't bring you the result that you expect, since we are reliant on SAP interfaces in this case. So if you're interested into cloud services, talk to us and we see what we can do for you, and we can make a workshop and just see what are your requirements and what can we fulfill of these requirements. All right, our USP, I would say our biggest USP is the SAP certifications for NetWeaver, for S/4HANA on-prem and for S/4HANA Cloud, because this, for us, it's just marketing. For you, it's a high value, since you can be sure that this piece of software you install in your SAP system is tested, is known by SAP, and is supported by SAP. Doesn't mean that SAP does the support for the product, but it means that if you receive that you experience any problem with your SAP system, SAP doesn't tell you, hey, please get rid of your add-on before, then we can see if the problem still persists. No, this product is certified, and you can rely on it, and don't need to be hesitant if you open a support ticket. The other thing is that we can provide holistic monitoring. So you don't need to do monitoring for your SAP silo and for the rest of your IT. You can bring together your monitoring, be it a security monitoring or performance monitoring, and can work on that in a common fashion. So you don't need to separate it. All right, then you can make use of the visualizations we provide within our Splunk app. You might know there are transactions within the SAP Basis platform that you can use for doing monitoring. You can use Solution Manager for the monitoring, but none of them just gives you the single view insight on your SAP system, on the status of your SAP system that you get with our Splunk application. So you can just cut down your daily monitoring tasks of your basis administrators, and your basis administrators can deal with other projects, problems, or whatever. So the fourth point I would say is if you like to use Splunk's ITSI premium tool and want to bring it together with your SAP's landscape, The only way you can do that is using PowerConnect. So if you want to use ITSI, PowerConnect is mandatory for incorporating SAP systems. All right, and as a summary of that, I would say we are dealing with reduced monitoring overhead, and I wanted to show you some SAP blog entry for that. This is what I found from an SAP basic administrator, and he tells the SAP community about his daily monitoring tasks. His transaction codes in SAP, he digs into it every day. And you see, it's quite a bunch of tasks he does at every day. So I assume this might take 1.5 to 2 hours every day. And using Splunk and using PowerConnect to get the data into Splunk, you can reduce this overhead to quite rather minutes than 2 hours. All right, this results in a reduced downtime usually, and the meantime to recover, because you have better instruments to find problems, bottlenecks, and downtime causing issues in your systems, rather than when dealing with all these trees and text logs in SAP. So this gives you the possibility to have a better overview over your systems and react faster than if you just use the traditional monitoring facilities in SAP. Third point is control security. So Splunk is known and famous for its SIEM and security solution. We integrate into it and provide data that is special to SAP and that can be included into your security framework. So you can see threats and even fight insider threats quite easily just by looking on dashboards. And the fourth point is you can do an improved business process monitoring. So we're able to track IDOC messages, PIPO messages, and even CPI messages, and even view the payload. So you're not reduced to the monitoring facilities of SAP. It means about security or performance. You can even have a look deeper into your business data and work with your business data and find bottlenecks in at your interface at interface level, even on SAP or on non-SAP systems that are attached to your SAP system. There we are with the use cases. So I talked a lot about it already. So we are dealing mainly with security use cases. Means you have the possibility to track user activity, to track system configuration and risks. Means if in your production system the SCC4 setting allows to make changes to the client, it's a huge security risk. And you can easily track that using PowerConnect in a predefined dashboard. Can track any login, fail logins, successful logins, anomalies in the system. You can see the threat on a geographical view. Means if someone in the US logs in and the same user account logs in Turkey 10 minutes later, you can be pretty sure that this is not okay, and you can lock the user and investigate and prevent that the attacker can get data out of it. Performance and stability. This is what you need with what you deal at any day, I would say. So you can get an impression what's up with your system about the system status, if there are performance issues, if there are bottlenecks and so on, and you can see it on several dashboards and can just see, okay, system status is good, system status is bad, I need to investigate. It's quite easy to use PowerConnect in the PowerConnect application in Splunk, and it provides far more visual insight into your SAP system landscape than you can see with traditional SAP tools. And the third thing is business processes. I wouldn't tell you that it's a use case, because actually it's a bunch of use cases. So it's highly custom, and you can solve your business problems using PowerConnect. You can just investigate data that is sent around, and you can correlate it to the metadata around. Means the time that it needs to be sent to other SAP systems or even non-SAP systems, and you can just dig into your business data using the facilities. And we have a bunch of examples where customers did great things with our IDOC or PIPO message payloads. So it's a big opportunity for you. You can solve not only your infrastructure problems, but also your business problems. So let's talk about licensing. License model is quite straightforward. So we only support subscription-based licensing, means OPEX licensing. We have a 3-year pre-commit of our software, and you need to pay it. You need to pay it annually based on this model. If you pre-commit yourself to 2 or 3 years, you will receive an additional discount to it. Included in the subscription fee, there is software, there is maintenance and support. So you don't need to take care about additional maintenance costs or whatever. It's only one price you need to pay annually. The metric for the licensing is the productive SAP SID. Means you pay one license per productive SAP system. All the non-productive SAP systems, be it quality system, development system, sandboxes, training systems, whatever, are licensed implicitly with it. There's some constraint regarding the SAP system type. So any transactional system is in so-called tier 1. And there's a second tier, tier 2, and it contains all the non-transactional, the supportive systems, be it BW, PIPO, Portal, Fiori, for example, or something like that. And its license cost is cheaper than for the transactional systems. And the third metric, the SAP users, don't apply to tier 2. So for tier 1, all the transactional systems, there is a basis of 5,000 users, 5,000 named and dialog users that are included in the base license. And if you have more than that, there's an additional fee for each 10,000 users. So this is the basic licensing. So it's fits on just one slide, and if you want to know more, just get in touch with us. Yeah, then I'm at the end of the slide set. If you have some questions, please place it right now. Unmute yourself and just ask. Right.
Sorularınız varsa yardımcı olmaya çalışalım slaytlarla ilgili demodan önce. I think there are no questions, Martha. You can move forward.
All right, great. This means I was either really good or really bad. All right.
Really good.
Then let's.
So?
Yeah.
Okay. You go on, Marcel.
Yeah, definitely. I go on. I promised you to show you a little bit of our Splunk application. I do it on the Splunk side and as well on the SAP side, and I just would prefer to start at the on the SAP side. So this is how our Splunk application looks on the SAP side. So we have an overview chart of data that is sent to Splunk. So you can easily see at any time how much data is sent to Splunk per day, because of course, and this is what I was telling about, this directly affects the license of Splunk too. We have our tasks, our jobs that are running within the SAP system. This is first in line as a check job. It controls both other jobs, means the collector job and the uploader job. So if one of these doesn't work properly, it tries to restart it, because if you don't receive any data into Splunk, it might just waste your results, and you might not even take a notice about it. But in our Splunk app, we have dashboards for that as well, so you can see at any time if a job is running or if the job is not running. All right. I talked about the extractors, and I cannot tell you about any of these extractors, but I can show you at least the number of extractors, and that it's quite widespread, and that we support lots of SAP transactions and features. So you see a lot of database related extractors, but also business process monitoring, or if you want to see the security related extractors, for example, you can just filter it according the securities, and you can see the security related extractors that are that directly have an impact on the data that is sent to Splunk in case of security features. Let's just vanish it again. Okay. All right. And what I want to show you in addition to that is even though you have the extractors and you don't need to send all the data to Splunk that are related to these extractors. So we have these metric filters, and you can just apply additional filters on the data, especially, for example, when thinking about the stat metrics. Stat can produce a vast amount of data, and you can filter it additionally so that only the data you actually need is sent to Splunk and affects your Splunk license and your infrastructure that is lying beneath. All right, just to finish our task here, we can have a quick view on the configuration of Splunk. We have a lot of systems configured in here, and so can you. So you can apply multiple Splunk systems. You can apply the same systems and define separate indexes within these systems. And in the end, you can define on an extractor level to which index and to which instance data should be sent. So if you have multiple Splunk instances dealing with separate data topics, you can just separate the data from one SAP instance to multiple Splunk instances. All right. This is a quick overview in our Splunk application for SAP. Let's just go to the PowerConnect application in Splunk. First of all, I need to make a choice for the SAP system. ID8 in this case is a NIDA system, so it means it's a system, SAP system that has some example data, some example workload in it, and it as well as a development system of our team. And so you see a lot of valuable data that you can see. So you see CPU activity, memory activity, availability, work processes, logs, and user logins. And this is just a system overview. Means this is the first page you see when you start the PowerConnect application. And in the end, it's an aggregation of special tooling from the security area and from the performance area. Just for you to know, you can also edit this this overview page and can do whatever you want with it. So you can move dashboards around as you like and as you think it's valuable for you. I don't want to save it. So, and the good news for you is this might not always apply to your special needs, to your business needs. And if you want to develop your own dashboards, but based on the data we provide, you can use the data, the searches that are behind our dashboards as a template. You can even modify our searches so that they apply to your specific needs. And this can be done by just mouse over the dashboard and open it in a search. It's quite easy and it's transparent. You can see what happens at any time and you can copy what we're doing at any time. So it's highly customizable and highly transparent for you to gain insight. So probably for the most people, security is of special interest. Therefore, I would just like to have a look on our security facilities in our PowerConnect app. So again, choosing the SAP system that you want to investigate, and there you can, for example, have a deeper look on user behavior.
Marcel, could you please increase the size of your fonts and screen a little, because I know that you have a big display there with you, but
I'm sorry
we're unable to see anything.
It's better now?
Just one more. Yeah, this is good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, so you can easily see what your users in your SAP systems are doing. Means again, it is a development system and it is some kind of waste system, I would say. So we are heavily dealing with a DDIC user that we log in. Actually, I'm logged in with the DDIC as well. But you easily see it on the first dashboards of PowerConnect. So if you might want to avoid that people are logging in with privileged SAP users, and you see it quite easily. Can see what your users are doing, what kind of sensitive transactions they're calling, multiple account logins, and so on and so on. And you can even, if you install the machine learning toolkit, You can even forecast user logins on your SAP system. It's a really cool tool. So when dealing with logins, you can just track the logins. So if there are lots of failed logins, you might see that this could be an attack, and you could react accordingly. And you can track almost anything that is related to login and login activity. And this is what I told you in the presentation, that you can easily see what happens on a geographical view. And if there are logins all over the world, and probably you don't have any user in some country where someone logged in, and you can investigate and can see, okay, this is just an employee who's on vacation in whatever in the Caribbean Sea. And tries to log into your system, or it's an attacker from within Russia or China or whatever. So it provides an opportunity, but it doesn't free you from reacting and thinking. Yeah, and this is what I was telling you about. Risk assessment means you can check for open clients open for development. For OS commands, password expired passwords or expired certificates and so on. This is just for you to see what might be wrong in your SAP system, what might be reconfigured. Just to show you about performance. You can see especially the time machine dashboard that allows you not only to show the current status in your system, but also see what happened in the past. And this is a big advantage, since SAP tends to aggregate data that is older than a specific date, and you lose precision on that data. In Splunk, you can just keep it as long as you want to keep it, and use it for analytics and predictive purposes, for example. This, by the way, is something where ITSI sets up also. So if you're interested into ITSI, just get in touch with our Splunk team in Turkey. They will tell you about it. But at any time, you can see what happens. For example, if you want to investigate work processes, you don't need to read a bunch load of charts. You can just see it in a visualization, and you see, yeah, everything's fine, everything's right. Work process runtime, you can see the tops, for example. And if there's something that should not be like that, you can just investigate and resolve the problem quite easily, because you know where to set up. Last but not least, I would like to show you what we are doing regarding business process monitoring and iDocs. So you can, and at any time, you can just investigate your iDocs. You can even investigate the payload of it. And this is a big advantage, since usually monitoring stops at SAP borders. And if you attached non-SAP systems to your SAP landscape via iDoc connection, via the SAP public interfaces, you might struggle with identifying problems outside the SAP area. And we can help you identifying problems, bottlenecks, or even business problems using this data we collect. And of course, again, this is just an example how you could use this data, but also we provide you with examples and even a documentation how to access the data we are using to do your custom development in Splunk. All right. I would like to stop with that and allow you to ask your questions regarding the demo, if there are any. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Right. Then I would like to say thank you. And if you have any questions after that come up after this session, just send a message, get in touch with me, and yeah, have a good day.
Ben de çok teşekkür ediyorum katılımınız için. Ezgi Hanım'la beraber bu zaten webinarı kaydettik. Onu da zaten sizlerle paylaşıyor olacağız. Marcel'in de söylediği gibi konuyla ilgili bir ek bilgi veya daha detaylı bilgi almak isterseniz her zaman bizlerle temasa geçebilirsiniz.
Çok teşekkürler Çağatay. Thank you Marcel. Ve misafirlerimize de çok teşekkürler bugün bizimle oldukları için. Bir sonraki etkinlikte de görüşmek üzere diyoruz. Hoşça kalın.
All right. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you Marcel for your time.
Thank you, Marcel.
Bye everybody.
Bye bye.